January 2024. A wall of white steel, taller than a 20-story building and 5 times the weight of the Titanic, slid into the turquoise waters of the Caribbean. The icon of the seas did not just break records, it shattered the scale of human imagination. A 250,000-ton monument to excess, carrying 7 swimming pools, a vertical forest, and a water park across the open ocean. What began in the late 1960s as a niche hobby for the wealthy elite has metastasized into a $50 billion global industry that moves 30 million people a year through some of the planet's most fragile ecosystems. But the waters behind these glittering floating cities are thick with more than just white foam. Beneath the 24-hour buffet lines and Broadway-style shows lies a reality of flag of convenience tax dodging, catastrophic carbon footprints, and local economies being bled dry by a business model that treats the world's ports as mere backdrops for a gift shop. This is the dark physics behind the race for the world's biggest ships. In the early days of the modern cruise industry, a ship was a means to an end. It was a vessel designed to carry you from point A to point B, with the ocean serving as a romantic, if somewhat empty, expanse in between. In 1970, the original Royal Caribbean fleet featured ships like the Song of Norway, which weighed a modest 18,000 tons. It was a large boat, certainly, but it still felt like a guest on the sea. Today, the industry has undergone a biological mutation. The ships are no longer guests of the ocean, they are sovereign states that have conquered it. To understand why these vessels have grown by over 1,000% in 50 years, you have to look past the engineering and into the cold, calculated mathematics of the corporate balance sheet. The primary driver of this gigantism is a concept economists call the density of revenue.
On a smaller ship, every square foot used for a cabin is a square foot that cannot be used for a casino, a high-end jewelry store, or a specialty steakhouse that charges $60 per person. In the cruise world, the ticket price is just the entry fee. The real profit is extracted once the gangway is raised and the passengers are trapped. By building bigger, cruise lines can achieve a terrifying level of efficiency. A ship that holds 2,000 passengers requires a certain number of deck officers, engineers, and a captain. A ship that holds 7,000 passengers does not require 3.5 times as many officers. The fixed costs of operating the vessels stay relatively stable, while the variable revenue from thousands of extra bodies drinking $10 cocktails scales exponentially. This is why the modern megaship looks less like a sleek ocean liner and more like a floating shoebox. To maximize every inch of sellable space, architects have pushed the hulls wider and the superstructures higher, creating a center of gravity that would make an old-school naval architect break out in a cold sweat. These ships are essentially massive apartment blocks welded onto a barge. They are built to stay in calm, tropical waters because their high profiles act like giant sails. In a true North Atlantic gale, an Icon-class ship is a liability, but the industry isn't selling adventure, it is selling a controlled environment. The goal is to make the passenger forget they are on the ocean at all. If you're looking at the sea, you aren't looking at a slot machine or a drink menu. But the engineering marvel of these floating cities hides an environmental catastrophe that the industry's marketing departments work overtime to greenwash. As the ships grew, so did their hunger for energy. A single megaship can consume as much fuel as a small city, burning through tons of heavy fuel oil every hour.
This is the bottom-of-the-barrel sludge left over from the reforming process, thick as molasses and packed with sulfur and heavy metals. When burnt, it releases a toxic plume of particulate matter and acid rain-inducing chemicals. In recent years, the industry has pivoted to liquefied natural gas, or LNG, branding it as the clean fuel of the future. It is a brilliant PR move, but a scientific nightmare. While LNG reduces carbon dioxide emissions by about 20%, it releases unburnt methane directly into the atmosphere, a phenomenon known as methane slip. Methane is 80 times more potent than CO2 at trapping heat in the atmosphere over a 20-year period. By building bigger ships powered by LNG, the cruise lines aren't saving the planet, they're simply trading one climate poison for a faster-acting one, all while claiming the moral high ground in their glossy brochures. The environmental degradation extends beneath the waves as well. These behemoths produce staggering amounts of waste. A ship carrying 8,000 people generates millions of gallons of sewage and grey water from sinks and showers every week. While regulations exist, the history of the industry is littered with billion-dollar corporations being caught dumping oily bilge water and plastic waste into the dark of the night. The scale of the ships makes the waste impossible to ignore. When a megaship anchors near a coral reef, the massive engines and thrusters churn up the seabed, choking the delicate polyps in a cloud of silt and sand. The very beauty the passengers pay to see is being systematically erased by the vessels that bring them there. Then there's the human cost, hidden behind the permanent smiles of the service staff. The cruise industry operates on a legal loophole known as the flag of convenience. Despite being headquartered in Miami, corporations like Carnival and Royal Caribbean register their ships in countries like Panama, the Bahamas, or Liberia.